All right, today we are opening up the user's manual for your brain. Seriously, we're going to break down the 4 key chemicals that are running the show, controlling how you feel, how you act, and, most importantly, we're going to show you how to start hacking them for a life with more focus, more motivation, and just more happiness.
You know that feeling, right? You have these big goals, all these things you want to do, but you just can't seem to get going. You feel distracted, totally unmotivated, and maybe even just a little bit down.
But here is the absolute key. This is not a personal failure. This is not about you lacking willpower or being lazy. The truth is, your brain's most basic, ancient reward systems are literally being hijacked by the world we live in today.
And that feeling of constantly running on empty, it's not just you. It is a widespread modern problem. So many of us are struggling to just take action towards the lives we say we want. We get this little flash of motivation, and then, poof, it's gone. It just crashes.
So what's at the heart of this? Well, here's the problem. Our brains are running on software that's about 300,000 years old. It was built for a world of scarcity, a life of hunting, building, and having deep social connections. That ancient programming is now in a head-on collision with our modern world of endless, effortless stimulation. Social media, junk food, infinite content, you name it.
And this total mismatch, it really centers around 4 crucial brain chemicals. You can think of them as the source code that dictates pretty much everything about how you feel and what you do. Understanding this code, that is the first step to taking back control.
And lucky for us, that code can be summed up with a really simple acronym, DOSE. It stands for dopamine, which is our motivation engine, oxytocin, the chemical for connection and trust, serotonin, which basically governs our mood, and endorphins, our brain's own natural stress relief.
So let's kick things off with dopamine. Why? Because according to neuroscientist TJ Power, this is the one chemical that's getting hit the hardest by modern life. It is the absolute key to your focus, your drive, and your ability to actually chase your goals.
And right out of the gate, we have to clear up a huge misunderstanding. Most of us think of dopamine as the pleasure chemical, but it's not. It is the satisfaction chemical. It's not about getting a quick, cheap hit of pleasure. It's about that deep feeling of accomplishment you get after you've actually earned something through effort.
And this difference is everything. On one side, you've got natural dopamine. This is what you build slowly, through effort. Think about cleaning your entire room or finally finishing a tough book. It leaves you feeling deeply satisfied. On the other side, you've got hijacked dopamine. That's the instant, effortless spike you get from scrolling social media. It gives you a quick rush for sure, but then it crashes your whole system, leaving you feeling even worse than before.
So how do we stop this cycle? How do we actually reclaim our motivation? Well, it really comes down to a few really powerful strategies. We've got to manage our biggest distractions, learn how to get into that deep focus, use our body's own chemistry to our advantage, and maybe most importantly, have a clear reason for doing it all in the first place. Okay, the single most effective first step you can take? Protect your mornings. When you wake up, your brain is looking for a hit of dopamine to get the day started. If the first thing you do is give it a cheap dose from your phone, you've already lost the battle for your attention. Instead, take action. Brush your teeth, make your bed, splash some cold water on your face, earn that first hit of dopamine.
Now let's talk about a powerful reset button for your brain. This number, 250%, that's the increase in your dopamine levels that can be triggered by cold water immersion. It's a really effortful, almost painful experience that creates this massive, sustained rise in dopamine that lasts for hours.
And look, you don't need some fancy ice plunge setup to get this benefit. Here is a super simple, sustainable way to do it every single day. Just 30 seconds of cold water at the end of your normal shower, that's it. It can give you this powerful, natural boost in motivation and focus.
Okay, so once we start rebuilding our motivation with dopamine, we can complete the picture with the other 3 chemicals. Just think of them as your essential toolkit for managing connection, mood, and stress.
First up is oxytocin, often called the connection chemical or the love hormone. This is what drives our fundamental need for social bonds. It's that warm, reassuring feeling you get from a deep talk with a close friend, or that sense of trust you build with a partner.
And you know, one of the fastest ways to boost it is through meaningful physical touch. Research shows that a genuine hug, and I mean one that lasts for at least 5 to 10 seconds, releases this powerful wave of oxytocin, making both people feel way more connected and secure.
Next up, we have serotonin, our primary mood regulator. And here's a fascinating fact. Something like 90% of your serotonin is actually produced in your gut. So what does that mean? It means your mood is, in many ways, a direct reflection of your physical health. Your body is constantly sending signals up to your brain about how it's doing, and that's what shapes how you feel day to day.
So, a simple but incredibly powerful way to support this is by getting sunlight in the morning. Before you look at any screen, just step outside for a few minutes. That specific frequency of light in the morning sun helps to set your body's internal clock, signaling to your brain that it's time to start producing the serotonin that's going to lift your mood and energy for the entire day.
And finally, we have endorphins. The best way to think of these is as your brain's own personal painkiller and stress reliever. They actually evolved to help our ancestors push through physical stress, like during a hunt or when they were escaping danger, by literally masking pain and creating a feeling of euphoria.
Now, besides really intense exercise, one of the quickest and most fun ways to trigger this release is just genuine laughter. I'm talking about that deep, stomach-hurting, can't-breathe kind of laugh. It is a powerful and immediate way to de-stress your brain.
So here's the crucial point in all of this. You don't need some massive life overhaul to start feeling better. You can bring all of these concepts together into a really simple, daily routine that honestly takes just a few minutes.
So here it is, your daily dose prescription. For dopamine, start your day with action, not distraction. For oxytocin, make a real, genuine connection. For serotonin, get that morning light. And for endorphins, get your body moving or just have a good hard laugh. Small, consistent actions, that is the key.
And that's really the big takeaway here. This isn't about blowing up your life and starting over. It's about understanding the system you're working with and then making small, deliberate choices that steer your brain chemistry in the right direction. You absolutely have the power to do this, starting with the very next thing you do.
So you're not fighting your brain in the dark anymore. You've got the manual. The only question left is, how are you going to rewrite the code?